Hi, sixth graders. We are still on Unit 5, Rates and Ratios unit. This lesson is on rate of change. Our learning target is being able to identify rate of change and slope using tables and graphs. So we'll start with a couple tables. Rate of change is a rate that describes how one quantity changes in relation to another. So we've talked about rates, we've talked about unit rates. Now we're talking about rates that are changing to different rates, but yet they're still equivalent. So if we look at, so make sure you write this word and this definition down. Let's look at this right here. The table shows the amount of money a booster club made washing cars for a fundraiser. Use the information to find the rate of change in dollars per car. So we can see, if we look at this table, it says cars washed, the number of cars for how much money they made. So we can see for every 5 cars, or after 5 cars, they made $40. After 10 cars, they made $80, $15, $120, $20, $160. So we can see, so if we look at the difference, so what they're doing right here is they're finding the difference. We can see it's going up by 40 every single time. So $40 between each rate that we have here. And then we can see over here that it's going up by 5 every single time. So what we can do is we can take the amount of increase for money and the amount of increase for the number of cars, which is the same on both sides. So we take 40 and we divide it by 5 and we get 8, or 8 over 1. So this tells us that the rate of change, because it's the same, sometimes it doesn't move up at the same rate, but because it's moving at the same rate, that the rate of change is $8 per car. So it's going up $8 per car, even though it is noted only by every 5 car. Okay, let's do another one together. You can try this one on your own, but we can also do this together. So the table shows the number of miles a plane traveled while in flight. Use the information to find the approximate rate of change in miles per minute. So that means that miles is going to go on the top of my fraction, and per minute is going to go on the bottom. Numerator, denominator. So let's find the difference here. So if we do 290 to 580. So just to confirm in my calculator, I'm going to do 580 minus 290, and I get 290. And now let's look at the difference here. 870 minus 580, and I also get 290. So we can guess, but I'm just going to make sure, 1,160 minus 870 is 290. Here, now we take the difference. 30 to 60 is 30. 60 to 90 is 30. 90 to 120 is 30. So then what we do is we take the change in miles over the change in minutes. So 290 miles in 30 minutes. And then we want it over 1. So we know then that we find 290 divided by 30. And we get 9.6 repeating. Even though your calculator says 9.666666 and then 7, it's just because it rounded it up to 7, but it's really 9.6 repeating. So then what is this telling us? It's telling us that it is changing by 9.6 repeating, or we can say 9 2/3 miles per minute. Or the plane traveled at 9 2/3 miles per minute while it was in flight. All right, so now we're going to look at a graph. So same information, but now it's just in a graph. So the graph represents the distance traveled while driving on a highway. Use the graph to find the rate of change in miles per hour. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make a table with this information. So just a really quick, doesn't need to be super neat. And this is, I'm just going to write highway distance. And then we have time and distance. Now I can see this point right here tells me that if I go over 1, that's telling me I went 1 hour and I went up 60. So 1 hour is 60 miles. Not every graph is going to have 1, like going to go right to 1. So basically this tells us our unit rate, but I'm still going to show you how to find it just in case there's not a 1 on it. This one tells me that I went 2 hours and 120 miles. And then this one here tells me 3 hours, 180 miles. So now I'm going to do what I did before with my table. I'm going to find the change, which this is 60, this is 60. Over here is 1, over here is 1. So then I just take 60 divided by 1. Remember, this is miles, this is minutes. So this tells me that I went 60 miles per minute. If you can kind of look, you can tell that we're doing basically what we're doing. Let me get a different color. Is I'm taking my y values and I can see I'm subtracting them. 180 minus 120 is 60. 120 minus 60 is 60. And then 3 minus 2 is 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. So then I still have 60 over 1. A little more confusing when we have a graph. Okay, so now let's do this one together. You try it on your own if you want, or we'll do it together. I'm going to make a table again of the information. Oops, why is it like crooked? There we go. So it says, use the graph to find the rate of change in miles per hour while driving in the city. So that one was on the highway, this one is in the city. So our title could be City Distance. Sorry, it's so sloppy. And then again, we have time and miles. So 1 hour, and this is hours. Oops, this would have been distance. And then my label would be miles. So 1 hour, we can see we went 30 miles because I'm looking right here. I went over 1, up 30, so 1 hour, 30 miles. 2 hours, 60 miles. 3 hours, 90 miles. So now I can go 30 to 60, the difference is 30. 60 to 90, the difference is 30. 1 to 2, the difference is 1. 2 to 3, the difference is 1. So 30 over 1 is 30 miles per hour. So if we zoom back out and really think about what this is telling us, it's telling us, and it makes sense, that I can go, oops, and now I'm looking back. Good thing I went back because I screwed up here. So I can see that this should have been hours, actually. Hours. Too many hours and miles and minutes. Oh my gosh, I'm confusing myself. So now I can't figure out how to like have this straight. Oh, there we go. I can see that on the freeway that we can go 60 miles in an hour. In the city, we can go 30 miles in an hour because on the freeway, obviously, we can go faster with less stopping, and in the city, we are stopping more. So that is all I have for rate of change. My next slide, we're going to go over in class tomorrow. So this is all you need. Make sure you have your notes and an example of the table and finding the rate of change, and we'll see you tomorrow.